President Duterte's planned trip to Kuwait is on hold following his decision to impose a total ban on sending Filipino workers there. Presidential spokesman Harry Roque says the administration is waiting for the Kuwaiti government to discuss ways to address the plight of Filipino workers there. He says international law provides Kuwaiti government should give justice to Filipinos abused by their employers.
Sa ngayon po, walang kasiguruduhan kung matutuloy pa ang trip to Kuwait. Pinag-aaralan po yan dahil ang inaantay din natin ay sinyales galing sa gobyerno ng Kuwait kung paano mabibigyan naman ng katarungan yung ating mga kababayan na nabiktima ng karumal-dumal na mga pangyayari sa bansang Kuwait.
Solicitor General Jose Calida has announced the plunder case against President Duterte filed by Senator Sonny Trillanes was, quote, already closed and terminated, unquote. Calida referred to a letter he got from the Office of the Ombudsman when he inquired about the status of the president's case. Calida questions why Ombudsman Conchita Carpio Morales kept quiet about it. He explains Morales has the constitutional duty to publicize matters covered by investigations when circumstances warrant it, especially on an issue that involves the president. Calida points out the case was terminated on November 29, 2017. The government's top lawyer says terminated is as good as junked. One thing is clear, Calida says the Ombudsman did injustice to the president.
Why did she withhold this information? When this case was filed, a press conference was even conducted. Now, 3 months after the termination of this case, the public has still no knowledge that the evidence supporting the allegations of Senator Trillanes is without merit.
The case stemmed from alleged ghost employees of then-Mayor Duterte who were on the Davao City government's payroll. Trillanes said this was the source of the president's questionable wealth. Senator Antonio Trillanes is back from the United States just in time to answer new controversies hounding him. He was declared persona non grata by the Davao City Council, while the Solicitor General calls on the Senate not to act on his resolution seeking a probe into the president's alleged questionable bank accounts. Our senior correspondent Cecil Lardizabal reports.
After being away in the United States for 2 weeks, Senator Antonio Trillanes is once again in a fighting mood against the defenders of the president. Trillanes was declared persona non grata by the Davao City Council for his remarks calling Davao City as the most dangerous city in the Philippines. He says he got the statistics from the PNP itself that in 2015, Davao was #1 in murder and #2 in rape cases. He says this was in stark contrast with to then Davao City Mayor Rodrigo Duterte's claim during the campaign that Davao City was the safest place in the country. Trillanes acknowledges the fact that he won't be able to set foot on the president's hometown. He acknowledges, though, that he doesn't have anything against the people of Davao and that he believes that the declaration of persona non grata is a decision made only by the members of the Davao City Council themselves.
It's not necessarily my loss. I refuse to believe that I offended the people of Davao. Sinasabi ko yung hindi kayang sabihin ng mga Davaoenyo. Kasi marami rin akong kakilalang taga Davao na hindi makapagsabi ng saloobin nila dahil natatakot sila.
Trillanes also has a message to Solicitor General Jose Calida calling his plunder case that was filed at the Ombudsman against the President trash, saying that was the reason why it was terminated in September last year.
Eh bakit sila nagpapani? Most of all, bakit ayaw pirmahan ni Duterte yung waiver? Ayaw niya tanggapin yung hamon ko.
The Solicitor General has asked the Senate not to act on Trillanes' resolution seeking to probe the President's alleged questionable bank accounts. But Trillanes says he will not withdraw his resolution. He says, as a matter of fact, he was able to talk to Senator Chis Escudero, who heads the Banks and Financial Institutions Committee, and said he is willing to hear such resolution. Trillanes offers to resign and said he's willing to be jailed if his claims won't be backed by proper documentation.
Establishments in Boracay have been given an ultimatum: comply with President Duterte's order to clean up the island. While it supports the government's move, the biggest business group on the island opposes moves for a total shutdown of the world-renowned tourist destination. Environment Secretary Roy Cimatu gave establishments on Boracay Island 2 months to shape up or face closure. Cimatu is scrambling to clean up the world-renowned tourist destination in Aklan province after President Rodrigo Duterte gave him 6 months to do the job or he would shut down the entire place. President Duterte had vowed to sue local officials for serious neglect by allowing Boracay to become an environmental disaster.
Nandoon na sa dagat mismo, which is not really allowed. And you allowed buildings to be constructed without the proper sewer or sewerage. Inyo yan eh. Now you're overzealous about, oh, we should be a part. Tayo, look, pag ako ang I will charge you for serious neglect of duty. Making Boracay a fish pond or a sewer pool. Tayo yan dyan. Makita mo Boracay maganda sa malayo. You swim in Boracay and you stink with Ganon yan.
Cimatu said up to 40% of establishments in Boracay have no sewage and dispose of their waste directly into the sea in violation of the law. The Environment Secretary will also go after establishments located within areas classified as forest land. But the island's biggest business organization, the Boracay Foundation Incorporated, is alarmed. In a statement, it says the solution to the problem is strict implementation of laws and local ordinances and the shutdown of establishments that violate them. The group warns that closing Boracay would result in loss of livelihood for local residents. Boracay brings in 36 billion pesos in tourist receipts. It had 2 million visitors last year. CNN Philippines is closely following the arrival of hundreds of distressed workers from Kuwait in the wake of a Filipina domestic helper's death in that country. We spoke to the family of Joanna Demafiles, whose body was discovered in a freezer. Her family here in the Philippines had no contact with her for over a year. Her eldest sister will fly to Kuwait to claim Joanna's remains. The sisters also shared the last time they spoke with Joanna.
Nakakausap po siya ng last na yon. Sinabi niya po sa akin na, ate, mag-extend po ako ng 1 year. Sinabi ko sa kanya, sabi ko, ikaw, decision mo. Tapos, sabi ko, kinamusta ko yung trabaho niya. Sabi ko, kamusta yung trabaho mo? Sabi niya, okay lang naman daw siya. Sabi ko, yun ang pinaka-last niyang nakausap ko. Yun lang naman po ang nabanggit niya sa aming problema niya. Yung pinagbawalan po siya ng paghawak ng cellphone, tapos yung pagde-day off, tapos yung sa pasahod sa kanya.
Yung kapatid ko pong panganay, siya po yung representative na napupunta doon. Yung sa palibing po, sasagutin na po daw nila. Malaki pong tulong sa amin yun at saka sa mga yung finances po nga dito sa amin, wala po talaga. Hindi po kami makakilos.
Sana po yung nasa UWA, yung wag naman sana silang hindi yung sa ngayon yung sa ngayon kasi full support sila sa amin. Yung mga na individual na nandyan sana, maging open sana sila sa tao kasi para maiwasan na yung may mapapahamak pa sa ibang bansa. Kasi buhay ng tao yung kapalit kawawa din.
Mag-ingat na lang po sa mga illegal recruiter. Dahil po sa kapatid ko nangyari, hindi po nasikaso naman po namin. Tapos yung nalaman na po namin na gano'n na po, masakit po sa amin.
The Demafiles family said they went to the recruitment agency that sent Joanna to Kuwait after they lost contact with her in 2016, but they discovered the agency had been shut down because of a number of violations. The family says they did not receive any help from the concerned government agency when they approached it last year. Speaking to CNN Philippines Overseas Workers Welfare Administration, Deputy Administrator Arnel Ignacio says he was not making excuses for OWA's shortcomings. He promised they will work on improving services for workers abroad.
Subukan niyo muna kami uli. Subukan niyo muna. I know there's a lot of things that na nagkulang. We apologize. sincerely, and we promise that we will work even harder for you. That's a promise. We'll work harder. February 20, we'll be moving around the Middle East to get to have a personal touch and personal conversations with our OFWs and to get a closer look at the situation para yung mga problema nila mas, again, mas maramdaman natin kung ano. So, to give us a clearer picture, and if we will be providing solutions, mas tugma, para hindi lang siya manatiling kwento.
Another batch of workers returned from Kuwait late this afternoon and will be officially welcomed home by no less than President Rodrigo Duterte. Our senior correspondent Ina Andalong joins us now on the phone from the IA Terminal 1 in Pasay. Ina, what's going to happen? Ina?
Yeah, 116 more Filipinos from Kuwait arrived in Manila this afternoon, and no less than the President is set to welcome them here at the New Aquino International Airport. The workers, majority of them women, arrived fast forward this afternoon via Etihad Airlines. They're among the Filipinos in Kuwait who have taken advantage of the government's order to fly them back home for free following the President's directive to impose a total ban on the deployment of Filipino workers in Kuwait, where many have fallen victim to abusive employers. Now, we spoke to some of them who shared their experience in Kuwait. Let's listen to portions of our interview.
Ang employer ko, madam, is hindi sila maganda, yung nananakit, hindi nagbibigay ng gustong pagkain. At yung sahod po, nagtitiis lang po ako hanggang nalaman ko na may kamag-anak ako doon. Tumulong po, nagpatulong ako. Tapos sila po ang kumuha sa akin.
Mahirap silang pakitunguhan, pakisamahan. Nandun na yung mumurahin ka, nandun na hindi ka na matahimik sa trabaho, utos ng utos, hindi ka na mapatutulugin ka, mga 12 o'clock na ng gabi, gigisingin ka alas 6. Kasi marami sila, yung pinirmahan ko sa kontrata ko, 2 tao lang. Nung dumating ako doon, ilang tao na, 10 yung alaga ko.
Okay, they basically share the same story, same sentiment. They went to Kuwait thinking they can live better lives, help their families with the remittances they send, only to suffer from employers who would hurt them either verbally or physically. Now, this isn't the last batch. Another 150 more Filipinos from Kuwait will be flying in later tonight. Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello says at least 2,500 have already expressed interest to return home. Most of them were able to process their papers through the ongoing amnesty program of the Kuwaiti government. Let's be clear, though, even with a total deployment ban and the government's offer to fly them back home for free, our kababayans in Kuwait are not being forced to return home. Those who wish to stay may do so. In fact, Bello says they will be proposing some exemptions to the total ban. For instance, those who are vacationing here in Manila but are bound to head back to Kuwait for work, and those who are also able to secure another contract which they wish to fulfill. Yeah.
So, what is next for these workers?
Well, government officials are eyeing new possible destinations for them. These include China and Russia, as well as Oman and Bahrain, where Malacanang points out do not have reports of Filipino workers being abused. But for the meantime, they will be given 5,000 pesos in financial aid from the Department of Foreign Affairs, another 5,000 from OWA, and also another 5,000 pesos from President Duterte. And the Overseas Workers Welfare Administration, or OWA, will also be offering them livelihood assistance worth 20,000 pesos. Yeah.